The Boston Marathon is now just days away. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about how I've been preparing for the race and what my race plan is for the day itself as I attempt my very first sub 3 hour marathon. So let's roll the intro and get stuck into it. Hello, I'm Nick, welcome back to the channel and welcome to anyone that's new. So I've been documenting since October my training to go for a first sub 3 hour marathon. I was actually planning to do it in October, but the training's been going so well and I've been improving my fitness so much, I just felt I had to give it a go this April. And I did just want to acknowledge at this point something kind of cool that's been happening the past few weeks. Disclaimers out the way early. I know many people look at their watch race predictors and go, hey, this is nowhere near. But I did actually a video on this maybe a month or so ago, and it was kind of really starting to head in the right direction. And my other times for other distances apart from the marathon did kind of correlate with what I was seeing. So I feel like in my case, personally, it could be a good predictor. So it's been steadily dropping during the training, and now for the first time it is predicting that I'm going to do a sub 3 hour marathon. So Garmin, thank you for the confidence boost. But yeah, it's currently saying 2:59:11, and only literally these last couple of weeks has it dropped below the 3 hour point. It may change between now and race day because of the taper, but yeah, really encouraging. Whether it's something I should put any value in or not, but the reason I kind of do put a little bit of value in, as I say, is that the other times are pretty accurate. So the half marathon time that it predicts is 1:23:13, I think, something like that. And now at Cambridge half marathon a few weeks back now, I did 1:23:21, so it's pretty close. And then the 10k time is predicting 37 minutes something, and I just ran 37 minutes 27, so I think it's 2 seconds out of that, so really close. And then the 5k time has never really properly corresponded, but for the first time again, it's now got me in the 17 minutes, so it's got me at 17:47. And my PB from September last year is 17:25, so not a million miles away from that either. So just to timestamp this, I'm recording just over a week from the Boston Marathon, but by the time it comes out it will just be days away. So I've been tapering down the last couple of weeks, so I'm doing a 3-week taper in all, and having maxed out at 62 miles for my training, so I'm dropping it down each week based on that. If you're interested in seeing exactly what that looks like, just head to my Strava, which is Nick Gill NRG_runs. So the focus really now is turning towards the race itself and things that you need to do in the lead up. So a couple of days ago I went and had a massage, sports massage with Steve from Master Physio, and that's really just to loosen up muscles in the legs, any tightness that you might have built up over training. They kind of recommend you can do them anything from sort of 10 days out to sort of 2-3 days before the race. I personally like to get them in sort of further out from the race because I don't have them that often and they can make you feel a bit sore afterwards. It's also advised that you don't run either kind of late that day or even sometimes the next day if you're feeling sore. So I got it in nice and early, but still with the benefit that it will give me for race day. So it's helpful for me to have a series of different goals for the race, so depending on how it goes. So I've got some time goals, but I've also got some kind of general goals for the race. So in terms of the time goals, a goal, probably guessed it if you've been watching any of my videos, a sub 3 hour marathon. That would be absolutely amazing, obviously. B goal is anything sort of below 3:05, so getting close basically to a sub-3 if it's not my day. And then C goal, kind of 2. First C goal is a PB. Now I didn't run a marathon last year, so my last marathon was the Yorkshire Marathon in October 2022, and I did 3:21:53. So anything quicker than that is of course a PB. I'm training for quite significantly quicker than that, and I feel like my fitness is in a good place, but it is also a PB. So that is the C goal, alongside the one that always has to be in there: finish the race. You know, you train all this time, and yeah, sometimes marathons don't go to plan, but I really want to finish, and I'll do everything in my power to do that. So I think it's important to have non-time related goals too. So one of mine is going to be to relax, to not put pressure on myself. I don't want to go into this really het up. This is kind of a free hit at the sub-3, because I've already booked having a marathon for October, which was always going to be the goal race. So I just need to try and relax as much as possible, and I know if I can, that will actually work in my favour on the day itself. Another non-time related goal is also to just show my mental strength and resilience when it gets tough. Those last 6 miles, 10k, 5k, whatever it is, sometimes more obviously, are a massive mental challenge as well as a physical one, and I want to just come out of this and be proud that I've given it my all, but also been sensible too. And you know, I talked in my last video about not finishing my first marathon and the mistakes I made, so it's again about listening to my body, understanding what I can do, but from a mental point of view, really just kind of dialing into it, accepting it's going to be hard, that it's going to be painful at the end, and what can I achieve with that, with a good positive mindset, and trying to enjoy the process, the pain, whatever you want to call it, as much as possible. I also really want to enjoy the marathon weekend. We're quite lucky that there's a few from the running club I'm part of, Fairlands Valley Spartans, that are running that day. So as well as Mike, who I've mentioned, got Stuart, who's featured in a few of my previous videos at Cambridge Half and Watford Half. He's also going for a sub-3, but he's probably got a bit of a different plan to me and Mike, so who knows, we might end up running together, we might not, but we've all got the same aim, so it's going to be great to see him on the day as well. Also got Kirsten and Andy running the marathon as well as Alex, so we've got 6 Spartans to my knowledge in the race, so that's going to be pretty cool. Georgie's going to be doing the 10k on the morning, which is pretty cool. It's going to be a good weekend. So what this video is really about though is the race plan itself. So I had a chat with Mike. I think it's about time I talk it through with you. So in terms of the nutrition plan, I've been practicing taking an SIS gel which has 22 grams of carbs every 25 minutes, and just before I take the gel, also having a salt stick chew, which is to boost my electrolytes. So there's water every 2 miles on the course, bottled water as well, so that's really helpful for me. So it's going to be a combination, obviously getting those gels in, getting those salt tablets in, and then topping up on water according to thirst. I've got actually set up an alert on my watch to tell me every time 25 minutes hits. I've previously done 30 minutes, which is obviously quite easy to calculate. When you start talking 25 minutes and your mind's going a little bit fuzzy, it's just one less thing to think about. So I'm splitting the marathon up into 4 parts. So the first part is the first 5k, first 3 miles, and chatting to Mike, we're both in agreement the worst thing we could possibly do is get excited and go out too fast. So sub-3 marathon pace is about 6:50 a mile or 4:15 per kilometre, and I literally want to be nailing that split for the first 5k. So yeah, coming in at 6:50s basically on the dot and not faster. I don't want to get caught up with the excitement of the race, people maybe going off ahead of us. So gonna do that. If we can have some people in a pack with us that want to do that similar time, that is going to be fantastic. So fingers crossed we will have some other people to run with, share the work. And then the next part of the race for me is going to be from that 5k point to halfway, so 13.1 miles or 21k. Really I just want to settle into a groove, running anywhere between 6:45 a mile and 6:50. In terms of halfway split, I want to be getting to the half no quicker than 1:29, and then probably around to like 1:29.35. That's kind of the ballpark, but ultimately, you know, not very much under the 1:30. So I'm not expecting to negative split it. I know it's super difficult to negative split, but I want to get as close as I possibly can. So keeping it as steady as possible in that first half, not using any extra energy up, trying to weave or catch up to people, and just not burning those matches too soon. The next sort of 13 to 20 miles is what I've got in my head, and I'm not gonna get to halfway and go, let's push on. I want to just keep that same pace going. So yeah, looking again at 6:45 to 6:50 pace, and just ticking off the miles, trying not to use too much mental energy, sharing the work with Mike. If it's windy, we'll probably go single file and then just keep swapping over. And as I say, if there's a group that we've got with us at that point, we can share it between us and just make things a little bit easier. Because at the Essex 20, we're around 6:50 pace, or just under, the whole way around. Working in a group made such a difference, and it felt, to be honest, pretty comfortable. So if we can do that again, that would be amazing. And then the last part of the race for me starts at 20 miles or 32k, and this is almost where the race begins. You know, a lot of us train to around this sort of mileage. My longest run has been 22 miles, and it's the bit of the unknown that comes with the marathon in terms of how you respond on the day and what you can do in those final few miles. I'm going to be trying to stay as much as I can in the moment, 1 mile at a time, and really, yeah, just going to try and dig in and maintain that pace at that point. And yeah, the beauty I think of Boston is it's a small marathon. It's less than 1,000 runners, and that means, you know, I should be able to run pretty close to the racing line, but we know most times you do end up running a bit over the marathon distance. At city marathons, you often run at least kind of 0.2 more in terms of the miles. So yeah, it's obviously not going to be exact. I'm going to have race splits on my arm, so I can see kind of according to the actual time on my watch, and when I reach the different marker points where I'm at in terms of the race. So I will have that in mind and keeping a keen eye on what that means for sub-3. But ultimately, that final few miles, it's about digging in and just keeping going. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks. And seeing where I end up. In like a dream scenario, I would be able to push on with sort of 5k to go and just absolutely empty the tank. But pushing on might actually just be maintaining, if I'm honest. So that is going to do it for this one. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. If you want to see how I get on in my first sub-3 hour marathon attempt, then do consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free, and I will see you on race day. Cheers.